Gather, veterans. It's time to join the fight. The long war begins.
This is The Long War. I'm Rob Baer, and joining me once again are my partners in crime, Mike Haspil and Wyatt Turk. What's up, guys?
Greetings and felicitations.
Yo, what's up?
Wyatt, did you drop something? You were looking down for a while.
I was texting on my phone.
Oh, okay.
I was texting.
Checking your email.
Yeah.
Right. Ordered some Grubhub.
Actually, I got groceries earlier today, so I'm all good there. But
Do you do that Instacart? I've been doing that a lot.
Yeah. Instacart. I mean, we have the best grocery stores in the nation with HEB. So
the best what?
Grocery stores.
Oh, I know. What was that? The booze store there is really nice too.
Well, we have a lot. Do you mean Specs?
Yeah, Specs.
Yeah, Specs is it's like the Walmart of booze.
It is.
Like a billion things. It's pretty cool. They don't deliver though, unfortunately.
Oh, still?
Yeah, like this.
They didn't relax that.
Yeah, like it's weird because you can get like Uber Eats sometimes. Like there's windows where you can get stuff from like little local liquor stores, but it's I should say it's probably because there's not a Specs within like a 5-mile radius of my apartment. So that's probably why I can't get it, but they might do it in other parts of town.
Well, I wish you could get GW delivered. I guess you can in some sort of ways. It's been an exciting week. Lots of previews. Plastic Thunderhawks on the way. Everybody knows it now.
Yeah.
Oh,
Spoiler alert.
the prophecy.
Wasn't that one of the clocks, the apocalypse clocks on the wall there?
Yeah, it was. I think it was Plastic Thunderhawk.
Plastic Sisters, Plastic Thunderhawks, and
squats, and the squat clock broke when they brought squats to Necromunda.
Yeah, I think so. Because they actually called them that.
Was it Rogue Trader or was it Necromunda? Oh man, I don't remember.
I think their first mention in modern 40K was in the first Necromunda core book when they re-released Necromunda. Okay. It's like, they trade with the squats in the upper spires because they're shit.
That's right. That's right.
Something to that effect. So, of course, we'll run down all the previews so far, and I think we'll have a tinfoil hat segment on what Friday and Saturday. Of course, by the time most people will be listening to this, we'll already be through Fridays, I imagine, and maybe even Saturdays by then.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to make a whole new bingo card for all the lines we're gonna see.
Did you make that? That was good.
I found that in another group.
Okay.
It's just it was really funny because I was like, well, I've literally seen all of these today.
All of these, yep.
I thought it was hilarious that there was one square that was missing, obviously, which was that everyone was going to complain about the bingo card because it was only
it wasn't a bingo card.
That blew my mind. I was like, I could not believe the density of some of these people where it was just like a bingo card is 5x5. I'm like, of all of the things.
There's nothing sacred.
I definitely expected a lot of people to be like, I'm in this picture and it offends me kind of whines, but like whining that it wasn't a real bingo card. I'm like,
yeah,
that is some real fantastic, like boomer shit that I was just not prepared for. Like, how dare you? Bingo is 5x5.
I don't know, man. Sometimes
magnificent.
Sometimes it'd be like that, I guess. So yeah, we'll cover that. I think a little bit more on previews and some new releases. We actually have new releases this week, although they are a little allocated. And I don't know. I'm sure we'll have lots to say about the Dallas Open as well. Because apparently Dark Eldar OP, please nerf.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I have a whole thing since I actually played against them twice. We'll go into, but yeah.
I have a tinfoil hat theory about them as well.
Ooh.
Yes. We'll see. So,
well,
how about we visit the Wyatt Cave of Wonders?
Yeah,
Cave of Wonders.
Let me usher you in.
Like the door creaks open.
Yeah.
A diamond in the rough.
Yeah. Touch only the lamp. Would you rather only ever watch the same list of 100 movies, or never be able to watch a movie more than one time.
That's kind of easy for me because I do the first one already.
I was about to say, I feel like I very rarely get to go back and watch a movie a second time these days.
Well, there's like a hidden pitfall there in that, like, if you pick 100 movies, you can never see a new movie.
Truth.
I'm kind of okay with that because all the new movies are remakes of the old ones.
Ooh.
In some
But
ways,
what about Dune? You can't see the new Dune.
I've seen it in my head.
But he saw the old one. He probably read the book.
I've read the book. All you need to do is say, hey,
What if they make like
this is Chani. This is the new Chani. I'm just like, okay, it's in my head. Done.
And half the time when I'm watching the Marvel movies, I'm remembering the old comic books. And then but what I forget is that there's like a good 10 to 15 year gap in some of these stories that I don't know. So then they take a left turn and I'm like, where the shit did that come from? I don't remember that. And they get me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love movies so much that both of these terrify me.
I used to love movies a lot. I used to be a genuine cinephile, like subscribe to I used to go to film festivals. I used to do all that stuff. Indie, big time indie. Yeah, I fell out of it. I used to make my own indie films.
You did.
There's some out there. Oh yeah. There's some out there for the enterprising Googler.
I've seen a few years. Yep.
I would enter these contests that you had 24 hours to make a film.
Huh.
You would come in.
I like the chat where it's like, it's only a matter of time before we get dope 40K movies. Yeah.
That would suck. But I will.
I'm like, Haspil, did you see that new Grey Knight movie? And you'd be like, no. I have to watch the same 100 movies till the end of time.
Till the end of time.
And I'd be there like, well, I saw it once. I can't ever see it again. Fuck.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of brutal. I'm like, there are some things some movies that bring me so much joy that I can't imagine never seeing Conan the Barbarian again, or never seeing The Wrath of Khan again, or never seeing Blade Runner, or never seeing Aliens.
Yeah.
I'd just be like, what I don't care about is a lot of the new stuff that's coming out. So I'm just kind of like, nah.
I don't know. I think I'd watch them once. I don't think I'd want to see the same 100 over and over.
I feel like I would take the one that's like the lesser of two evils to me.
Which one's that?
Only being able to watch a movie a single time.
A single time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still gonna stick to the same 100. That's gonna be mine.
I feel that too. I don't know if I have a favorite 100 movies.
But that's like literally what I do now. It's I watch I can't even tell you how many times I've seen like Ocean's 11 or something.
That is a good one.
I just put it on in the background and it's just like I'm doing something else and it's just on.
Fuck, I haven't seen those movies in a while. Now that you bring it, I'm gonna have to watch those now. I love the ocean movies; they're so good.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, some people in the chat are like, I'd never get to see the last Starfighter sequel.
Ooh,
that's brutal.
The new Top Gun when that comes out. New Top Gun.
Oh my God. Oh, this genie. You're terrible.
Yeah.
It didn't seem that bad at first.
It didn't seem that bad at first, but now it's
dang, this is torturous.
It's like
now you're fucking with my free time, genie. Yes. I ain't got enough of that. Come on, dog.
Oh man.
Oh.
I'm still gonna go with the 100. I will go with the 100, the list of hundreds.
Yeah, I'm not changing.
Yeah. So I'll just be like, well, sorry, Maverick. Oh, okay. So gaming it. I'm trying to game it. Can somebody tell me about the new movie?
Oh yeah, you just can't watch it.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. Then 100 it is.
Just hire like a narrator on Fiverr.
I will just hire like Michael Kramer to just reenact the new Top Gun.
Dramatic reading of the new Top Gun.
A dramatic reading of the new Top Gun
by Michael Kramer. I like it.
Yeah, it's good. That was a good one.
So I think for our Tabletop Market Watch, I wanted to go over the new releases for this week, and then we can kind of hit all the high points of the previews from Games Workshop. So this week, the new the new Orcs are coming out. They are $40 for that warband. For Dire Chasm, they're called Head Kraka's Mad Mob. Very cool looking models. They don't have a crab in there, but they're still pretty cool. Then there's a couple of Black Library books. Necromunda's got one as well. Sons of Sanguinius, Blood Angels Omnibus, Book of Martyrs for the Sisters. Those are all various prices, $16 to $27. Apparently, you'll be able to get them at stores. Then, of course, the Necromunda Hive War starter box, updated with the new modular walls. What is it called? Wall? I don't think they come with the stairs that go on top that made the Dark Uprising. So I think it's just a walls set.
They look really cool because they're like two-tone. I think they're two-tone out of the box. I'm not sure.
No, you got to glue them together. Like they've got some depth to them.
But I mean, like, was that painted on, or you know how it was like bone and gray in the preview?
Oh, well, the texture, the plastic is slightly like, it's not like flat. It's got a little bit of texture to it. So maybe just hit it with a wash and then kind of dry brushed it to make it kind of pop.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
it looked good. I'm passing on this one, but that's only because I got the original Necromunda and I bought the Dark Uprising. So we were talking about it in the pre-show. I have like 6 gangs already and more terrain than I need. But if you guys are looking for a really good skirmish game, you can do a lot worse than Necromunda.
Oh yeah, I think Necromunda is a really, really dope one.
Really, really good.
Yeah, a lot of folks are definitely playing that game. It's got a little bit of creep to the rules, so I think that's kind of why they rebooted it and put the new rule book out.
I'm hoping you can just get the rule book separately.
So not currently, not yet, but
but like in the future. I'm fixing to get my Necromunda hype on this month with a hired gun. So
Ooh, that comes out June month.
No, I think it's June 6th.
It's June.
It's like a month from today. Or maybe 12th. I forget.
It's soon.
Very soon.
It's very soon.
Yeah. So the Hive War box is $150. It was $125 last time they came out with a starter box, which didn't include that dope ass terrain that comes in there. So when you look at the value of this, the 2 war bands, they're $40 each, and then the actual cost of plastic, and the rule book, which is probably a $40 value, you are making out on it. There's also Escher and Goliath weapon upgrade packs coming out as well, which I'm not exactly sure how they're configured. If they're just extra bits from the sprues, like put into a new configuration, those are $25 each if you want to pick those up. Now, unfortunately, allocations are still here. So all this stuff is allocated to 1 per store.
Wow, savage.
It's a little rough.
Big oof.
Yeah. So, the plastic tile, somebody in chat's asking about the plastic tiles from Dark Uprising. I don't think they've come back in since their release in early 2020.
They haven't. Some folks in Europe, some stores in Europe have them, and you can get them on eBay. Sadly, that's it. And luckily, they're not price gouging too badly. It's just you're going to pay more for them because if you're not in Europe, you got to pay for shipping. So,
So switching gears a little bit and going to non-GW stuff this week that we saw, it looks like coming out next week for Marvel Crisis Protocol is going to be Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch expansion along with Mr. Sinister expansion.
Ooh.
Yeah. And FFG revealed, well, not that we didn't already know it was coming, who was coming in each box, but the new Web Warriors and Sinister Six blisters have officially gone on pre-order on their site, or excuse me, box sets have officially gone on pre-order on their website. I think it's Spider-Man Black Cat, and Spider-Man being Peter Parker. So
is it new models or is it reboxing?
No, it's new models. It's a new sculpt for Peter Parker Spider-Man. So you can play him or the one in the starter set because they're locked to the name. So there's a Miles Morales Spider-Man too that you can have in the same team. And then there's
Luke Cage is on pre-order as well as Iron Fist.
Yes.
Oh man,
fuck
yes. They look good.
His model looks so sick. I'm on miniature market right now looking at him.
So the configuration for this, these guys coming out is Spider-Man Black Cat in the first expansion. And then, it is Lizard. Hold on, let me scroll down. Lizard and Kraven and the other, expansion box, and Mysterio and Carnage in the other one.
Oh, wow. Wow. Okay.
Ooh.
So the bad guys are coming.
So the Sinister,
MCP.
they're starting the Sinister Six, and
yep, all very fresh.
Jesus,
Marvel.
They also revealed Ms. Marvel as well. Just a figure, nothing further.
This new Spider-Man one looks so much better than the box set one.
Yeah, the new Ms. Marvel, right? The teenage girl, Ms. Marvel.
Fucking Carnage looks insane, dude. Mysterio, Kraven. Lizard looks fucking baller. Wow.
I think probably Lizard's my favorite because he's like coming up out of the sewer and the cover's like flying off and there's like this huge like tidal wave of sewage and he's like, gotcha, Mitch.
Yeah. For anybody watching or listening, you can find this over at atomicmassgames.com.
Yeah, their Facebook generally has a lot more preview information. Like they have the card up there for Quicksilver. If you roll good, he can just keep moving.
When are they gonna? Because I know they showed off the new Captain America.
Yeah.
When do they have any word on when he's gonna come out?
I don't think they did. They
they revealed it like
Oh,
yeah.
Maybe they just
I missed that one,
but it's not up for pre-order yet. It's Sam as Captain America.
As Cap. Yep. And it looked really good.
I did see that. Okay, model. Yeah, I did see that one because he was flying and he's
flying.
They haven't had a model for the Falcon yet.
So. Right? No, they haven't. All this stuff's like pretty far out because we actually haven't seen any Marvel Crisis Protocol releases in like 2 months because shipping delays. They're making them all in China and stuff. And even though there wasn't a Suez Canal blockage between here and China, in the States, there's still like a commodity on. Shipping rates, even just the canister, just the containers themselves, it's crazy.
I just noticed that the Iron Fist, he's got like the flaming punch going on, but it's in the shape of a dragon.
Yeah, it's his dragon.
That's
punch
so fucking cool.
That's awesome. Like his super attack.
MCP is.
I've been resisting that game, but I think I'm gonna have to get into it just for the models.
They're so fucking cool.
There was a recent, I don't know if I talked about this last week or two, but there was a recent banned and restricted list edition. And two of the designers actually got on a YouTube channel, the Gamers Guild. It's a really popular one that does battle reports and stuff. And they were just on there live streaming with this dude, Nate, that runs it. And they're just talking about, how they go about making miniatures, their passion for it. They're like, all right, look, Cable, we want a Cable straight out of the 90s. He can body slide. He can do all this, like this cool shit.
Yeah. And his model is fucking sick.
Yes. And then they're explaining, so there was a little bit of controversy because a lot of his attacks are range 5 and he can do all this stuff and he can kind of teleport. And there was a thing where he could basically get across the board and start boxing people in if they didn't ban a card. So they're like, we're weighing all the options. Like, do we want it backwards? We know there's stuff on the way that could balance it out, but we also know that this guy's going to be a problem for a while. So we just went ahead and banned this card. And they're like going into their reasoning for balancing the game and talking about their passion for making miniatures, which I was like, gosh, this would be so cool to hear from another company, right? The whole time I'm like, I am hearing everything I want to hear, but not from the right company. I mean, it was great to hear
they keep releasing stuff like this. Like I'm with it.
Folks who are asking, the game we're talking about is Marvel Crisis Protocol.
Yeah, by Atomic Mass Games. And Atomic Mass Games is basically FFG. So FFG technically hasn't existed as a company since 2016. So it's Asmodee's, or Asmodee, however you say it, miniatures development team. It's their miniature studio. They're responsible for Legion now, X-Wing, Armada, and Crisis Protocol, which is their Marvel license now. So and a lot of the folks there are previous Privateer Press developers and designers, a lot of XGW folks from here in the States, and also a lot of the folks that came over from FFG too. So it's kind of like an all-star company when you think about it.
Is also in Dallas.
Oh, are they there?
Yeah.
I thought they were more further west.
Last time I saw, they were Dallas based.
Oh, okay. I think all the official addresses are in Minnesota because it's technically Asmodee still, but I don't know.
Maybe Atomic Mass is what I'm talking about. I think they're in Dallas.
Yeah. That's cool. Like I really like that game. And then also somebody in chat's talking about the Batman Miniatures game, which is also getting a new starter. I think it might already be out, an objective card. So there's a lot of folks that really enjoy that game too, because the way the objective cards work, you can not only you use your deck of cards to not only give you objectives to score points in the game, but also for abilities, like to do things, defense and different things like that, which I think is kind of novel. Like we haven't really seen that mechanic in a game format, in a tabletop miniatures game format, which I was like, what are you doing? And they're like, yeah, this and that. And I was like, that's actually pretty cool. So I was really excited about that too, but I haven't actually got to play a game of 3rd edition Batman Miniatures, although some of the guys that work for me play it quite frequently. So maybe I should. Hey, demo me this game. Other independent, aka not GW stuff that we saw this week, I guess on the same vein as GW McFarlane figures, we saw some new ones, artist proof flayed one, regular flayed one, and a new, what would you call that? Convent of Sisters? I guess they're just a different.
Yeah, I guess.
I think they're convents, right? It's the same exact sister figure, but it's just painted, I think, a different style. Like it's got more reds or something like that. So supposedly those will be coming out at some point this year as well. Just going through my list. There's so much in here that is making the news. If you're into He-Man collectibles, the new Revelation cartoon that's going to be on Netflix by Kevin Smith, and I think Skeletor's voiced by Mark Hamill. Those figures were spotted. They're pretty cool looking. They're not quite the traditional kind of style that we would expect, but I think they're going to be more in line with what the figures or what the characters look like in the show.
Mark Hamill's popping up everywhere now. He was in Invincible. I was like, what?
Yeah. Oh wow! I
heard the Taylor. I was like, I bet you that's Mark Hamill. And it was.
Check the credits.
He's going to be in a new live action movie soon-ish, too. That comedy movie that Bert Kreischer is doing.
Oh, nice.
Oh, really? The Machine.
He's going to play Bert Kreischer's dad.
Oh,
now he's playing. Wow! How the turntables.
How they turn tables.
Yes, definitely happening. Artel Miniatures previewed some new orcs, some orc rocker warband that looked pretty tight. Definitely like the lead singer. It's very metal. You got to check it out. It's very
nice.
metal.
I want them so bad.
The guitarist is Axl Rose, basically, orc version of him.
They're really cool. The new goth rockers.
Yeah. So good. All their stuff's generally very well done. Oh, and I think Wargame exclusive showed off their new Not Hellbrick. What day was that? I forget. But that one's coming out too, and I think it's only, I want to say it's 25 US. Might be a little bit more in euros.
Wargame, they have good pretty good pricing for stuff. I tend to skew towards Artel because I like their style more. Like Wargame is, they're like turbo gothic and a little bit more busy. Cool models, just not to my taste. So I go with Artel.
Yeah, I could see that. On the little bit of self-promotion here on the made-to-order marketplace right now, we actually have up the Sisters Prioris model.
Actually, self-promotion is not allowed. We're going to have to ban you.
Oh, okay. All right.
No self-promotion here.
It's on pre-order right now. I don't know how long it's going to be up there for because I may be getting notified by my licensor that I have to take it down. Yes. So I will honor all pre-orders, of course.
Games Workshop does not want you to know about this model. Literally.
Literally. So that is up there too. And also at the same time, we offered the Heresy Lab Assassin Heresy Girls Kickstarter 1.0 Assassin set in the new Void resin at the same time, and at a discount, actually half off, because I know a lot of folks bought that set when it came out, and now we're using a better quality resin. So I was like, maybe folks would want this, but I feel bad charging them twice full price for something that they already bought. Maybe I'm a little too self-conscious, but so I put it up for half off, and we've sold a fair amount of them. So don't miss out on that one either, because that sale price is only good.
You're telling me you have ethical pricing? Get the fuck out of here.
Mostly.
Who does that?
Man, I mean, cats got to eat too, but can't give it away for free. So that price is good until the 14th, which is next Friday. So definitely check that out over on the Spiky Bits 3D made to order marketplace. Jumping back into the previews, just going to kind of run them down real quick, because I'm sure a lot of people have already seen them. I'm not sure we want to give our thoughts on them. So first up, Monday morning, we saw the new Pain Boss for the Beast Nagas.
With his Squig IV.
That was pretty cool.
That is plugged into its butt.
I mean,
God damn it, I love orcs so much.
I mean, that's just on brand, I feel like.
God, I can't wait.
That thing was the Beast Snagger is going to be pretty cool, and I imagine we'll see some on Friday. I don't know if I'm jumping the gun on the tinfoil hat. They showed us some of the new. What was it? I'm trying to read my notes. Oh, Kragnos. Kragnos came out on Monday as well. So
yeah, big boy.
If you're an aficionado of the destruction factions for Age of Sigmar, he is a big baddie. I forget the Instagram account that did a photoshopping of how tall he is. They did the same with Lord Croak when he came out as well. It's all on the site post, but he is exactly as tall as a Mega Gargant. He is a
chonky. Big boy. Yeah.
Yes. And, all the destruction factions are probably going to want him for their play. Yeah. So don't know the exact rules yet, but I imagine he's going to be quite in demand when he does hit stores there. Jumping into Tuesday, we saw an interesting rumor engine. I'm going to stop there for a second. Did you see it? It was a mine and some tripwire. It looked like.
No, I didn't.
Very Imperial Guard-ish. And, yes, right. Ooh. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the next day we saw the new Gaunt's
When is our tinfoil hat segment? It's next, right?
Yeah, it's next.
Okay, I'll hold up.
Okay. Also, Caradon Book of Fire was unveiled at the second day's previews, and that's when things obviously got salty. If you're watching that, well, a lot of people had a lot to say about that, which was, I do not envy the moderators.
Rob, didn't you know that plastic warp Barbies is the most important issue plaguing modern man? We have to be upset about these things.
Yeah, some people just need stuff to worry about, I suppose. But it looks like it's going to have rules for Sisters, AdMech. Also, Be'lakor is going to be in there for 40K.
Ooh, finally.
Yep.
Get those keywords for 40K.
Yep. And they said he's going to be on par with Imperial Knight. We already know what the Sword of Shadows does. It's either strength 12 or strength 14. Take your pick, depending on the IKEA worksheet or GW's article that they took back down. So I don't know. But either way, he's looking pretty swole for sure. And then, of course, on the next day, on Wednesday, we saw the Gaunt's Ghosts for Black Library, and of course, a bunch of other Black Library books. You know, a lot of Siege of Terra stuff that we kind of expected, some more horror stuff.
I mean, I'm still waiting on the next one to be on audiobook. So,
as somebody was saying, Gaunt's Ghosts, like you can get 1 through 5, and you can get like
the Siege of Terra stuff.
The Siege of Terra.
I've read all of this Gaunt stuff.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I just want. What's the new one called?
I don't remember.
I don't know. It's the most recent Siege of Terra book, but they only have it on
Mortis.
Yeah, they only have it on ebook or pub right now, and it's just
the audio's not out yet.
No, they don't do it simultaneously like every other fucking book company in the world.
There's actually reasons behind that, but they probably my guess is they probably tried to do a simultaneous release and then couldn't do it. Mm-hmm. That would be my guess.
It's possible.
I'm gonna go on their live stream tomorrow and call them all shitbags because it's definitely their fault.
Oh yeah, for sure, definitely. Make sure you say hashtag Curse City.
Yeah.
Jeez. Well, you know they do put out like the hardcover, then the audiobook, the soft cover, the Kindle. It is a process with them, and then eventually you get the soft cover for like 10 spot. That's the last release usually with them. And there's definitely a strategy to it, and it's worked for them so far. So we'll see if they change it.
I can't complain too much. They did port all their stuff to Audible, which is
so magnificent.
God,
every time
it was so bad.
Every time I have an extra, like I'm really far behind right now, but every time I have an extra credit, I'm just like, I don't know what, well, I'll just get a Black Library book.
Yeah, I mean, I got the new. I think it's actually like an audio drama. That's the new like Uriel Ventris book. It was pretty cool. Mm-hmm. It was nice to see what my boy was up to.
It's definitely good to have him back, I feel like. So going into today on the previews, of course, we saw early on new GW synthetic brushes with the white handles. So it seemed like from the article that they mentioned they would keep the Artificer brushes, which I think are $20 or $25.
Yeah. I saw that our friend Adam from Army Painter was mentioning something like that. There's actually like a big shortage for Kalinsky Sable right now because they were one of the few animal species that COVID jumped to, and a whole bunch of them had to be put down, unfortunately. So some companies are safe, like Army Painter is safe because their farm where they get their ethically harvested tail hairs from weasels is cool.
Beehole. I want the ones by the beehole.
I don't think you do. I don't know about this. But that's probably one of the reasons that they're finally doing a synthetic line is just because there's like a shortage and, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. There's a pivot. I hope it's a little bit cheaper of a price.
Yeah, I was gonna ask because I didn't see that one, so they didn't say how much they were.
No, they didn't. They didn't mention any prices yet. So we'll definitely compare them to the old prices for sure.
That'll be interesting because if they're not like really cheap, like kind of mirroring market price between organic and synthetic brushes, then that might be a big boo-boo.
And I mean, there's plenty of other great brush companies out there. I mean, personally, I haven't used a GW brush in forever.
Yeah, the reason you buy synthetics is because they're fucking cheap. Like all synthetic brushes are garbage. Like they're all bad. They all curl because they're basically plastic, but you buy them because they're cheap and they're disposable. So if they put those out and they're still like GW prices for a disposable brush, then like, oof.
Yeah, it's going to be a rough one. I think there's going to be a little bit of damage control there, but we'll see. We'll see. So that was the first thing in the morning. And then they jumped to all the box game stuff. So we saw a new Idoneth warband for Dire Chasm, Warhammer Underworlds, which looked pretty cool. I thought that was pretty neat. Some new Necromunda, the Delac, Crazy Assassins with their Snake Psyker Hoover thing. Those all look pretty neat. So there might be one-offs. I'm not sure if that's going to be a box set. And it's going to be, I don't know how they're going to spin that because those are so different looking miniatures. And then, of course, we saw the plastic Thunderhawk.
Yes, fantastic.
The Thunderhawk heard around the world, along with new Eldar flyers and Space Marines too, because Space Marines hadn't had their models yet for Aeronautica Imperialis. So that was really cool to see. One thing in the preview that actually I didn't like the terminology he used. He was like, well, now Aeronautical Imperialis is complete because the Space Marine faction's here. And I'm like, ooh, wait a minute. A lot of times when you say something is complete, that means you're done with it.
Oh, yeah.
That was always the thing that
suck.
FFG said. They were like, oh, well, Star Wars Living Card Game's complete now. This is complete. This is complete. And complete means they're done with it completely.
That's too bad.
Well, what do they did? So they have the Imperials, they have the Tau, they have the Orcs, they have the Space Marines, they have the Eldar. Isn't that like the only people that use air superiority stuff?
I mean, maybe Tyranids. I don't know. They did mention that, they had put out, he's like, we had put out some stuff in Forge World, which they did, but he didn't say that there would be more stuff from Forge World.
Yeah.
Because I thought that like the whole thing behind Aeronautica Imperialis was that it is sort of like a sister game to Titanicus, which is like pre-Heresy or like Great Crusade Heresy era type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that they didn't have the Necrons and the Tyranids back then. So I guess it would make sense.
True. I mean, maybe this is just a precursor to our tinfoil hat section, but whenever I hear somebody say a game system or something is complete in that game system, I get alarmed because that is a warning indicator in some cases that this game might be going nowhere, but could be completely wrong and 100%. And we might see new stuff for them, which would be great too, because all those Space Marine flyers look dope.
They look great. They look really good.
And I'm sure Eldar players are very happy that they got their new models finally after all these years. Between that and Lilith's base. Oh,
I mean,
poor Eldar players.
I don't even like Craft World that much, but fuck, they deserve some stuff. Come on.
Gimme. Very sad. So that was the complete roundup of all the previews thus far. And now I feel like we should talk about what we think might be the big reveals
hats
tomorrow.
Right. Everybody get your tinfoil hats on. Like some wild speculation.
Okay, if we're gonna just wildly speculate,
yeah, dude, swing for the fences.
Yeah, and it has nothing to do with reality and me just wish listing. I'm going to say Battlefleet Gothic.
Okay,
I would love Battlefleet Gothic.
Okay,
and I definitely heard from some very good sources that was happening. Don't know when.
I would be super excited for it. Very, very excited for it. I mean, I really, really like the game. Unfortunately, trying to get anything is so expensive for Battlefleet Gothic because it is out of print. Everything is out of print.
Yeah.
But I would love a return to Battlefleet Gothic with the new plastic models and maybe a box set that comes, I don't know, with like maybe 4 factions. I'll just swing for the fences.
Damn, why not?
You know? But it's like, that would be really incredible. I'll settle for 2 factions of just, Imperium and Chaos. And then move on from there.
Yeah.
But I will kind of counteract that we do have a really good Battlefleet Gothic computer game. So
we do. Good 2 of them.
Yeah. So we're probably not going to get Battlefleet Gothic.
Let's see. So if I was going to wish list, I mean, we're going like full like Bigfoot conspiracy theory shit here.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Based on the rumor engine, what if they release a new guard faction and it's the Tanith First and Only? Go along with
that would explain the tripwire and the
that
mines.
would explain the
That
Gaunt's
could be
Ghosts.
cool. I'd be totally down for that. And then Orcs. I mean, like Orcs is maybe it's somewhat of a safe bet because they have the Beast Nagas stuff coming up, but probably going to devote some time to that. I love orcs, so they give me some new orcs. I'm with it. And then like real far out wish listy shit. Fucking Khorne Berserkers Codex with Angron.
Oh, okay.
Dude, an Angron would be so
New
good.
Khorne Berserkers, World Leaders Codex, Demon Prince Angron. Let's go.
Yeah, I got 2 more swing for the fences like Alex Jones.
Yeah.
ones.
What are they putting in the water?
So I'm going to say the first one is a reverse troll, plastic Thunderhawk, 28 millimeter scale.
Oh, it is.
Okay. All right.
And then the second one, Warhammer, the Old World.
Warhammer, the Old World.
Well, I think I don't think it's fleshed out enough. I think they
No, it's not. It's
well, we know that's happening.
Yeah, they will eventually release that, but it's not tomorrow. Not tomorrow
Man.
or Saturday. But that would be so hype if they were like, "Oh, remember the plastic Thunderhawk? Here it is."
Man, can you imagine how people are going to react if they actually make a 40K level plastic Thunderhawk, but it's going to be like $200.
Oh, easily.
Because it's not going to be like a shell. You know, it's going to have like all the doors are going to open. It's going to have all the cockpit jank. It's going to have all the interior bits and everything. It's probably going to come with a bunch of like Space Marines like sitting in their jump chairs and stuff like that. It's going to be like a $250 model, and then people are going to lose their minds. Like, it's only $3 of materials, plastic to make that fucking thing.
But it'll be allocated, and every continent only gets one.
Yeah. With the way that this community has been acting, I hope nobody fucking gets one at this point. You don't deserve one.
I'm triggered.
Nice.
I don't know. I think we're probably going to see Sigmar 3.0. Actually, what is it? May? Nah, we still got time on Sigmar. We still got time on Sigmar. I think we'll see I think tomorrow we'll see some new Orcs for sure. And then I think they will get into some more 40K, some big stuff like one of the
Mephisto.
I think the dark horse is going to be squats. Releasing a new 40K faction, I think, is the real long shot dark horse. So I'll say it. So that way, if it happens, I sound prescient. New faction, squats.
That would be hilarious though, but nah, I don't think so. I don't know. I think
well, they come out with squats, you look real fucking stupid, Rob.
I would look really dumb, and I'll be like, damn it, why?
How did he know?
It's true. Be very sad. But nah, I think whatever it is, it's going to be a great 2 days of previews for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And
It'll be cool.
I'm super excited for it. But so what do we? So how'd you do at the Dallas Open?
Dallas. It was a great event. So before we get into like the play-by-play, I do want to give a shout out to Nate and all the guys who put that on, because they did an amazing job of managing what was the first major post-COVID. So they did a really good job with organization. And, credit where credit is due. It was the best event I've ever been to in terms of having enough judges to actually like cover the field, and B, every single time somebody was like, hey, we need a judge, they were right there and helping out.
Oh, that's dope.
So I have to give them credit for that. Cause I don't want it to sound like I'm bashing people, because like other events have done a great job. Like LVO does a great job, but they just don't have the manpower, right? Or they haven't had the they might have it next year. Maybe they will. But the guys at Dallas did a great job of having a good number of judges there that were walking around, patrolling tables, going wherever they were needed, all that sort of stuff. Very, very, very minimal amount of disputes or any type of penalties handed out whatsoever. So again, great job on that. Everybody was abiding by the rules of, wearing masks and all that good stuff. So good on them. Great job there. And yeah, like it was a great event. 8 rounds over 3 days. So it was trying to say the least.
Grueling.
But I had a really good time. The terrain, which we kind of talked about before we went, and kind of when we were there last week, when we tuned in from the hotel, terrain was pretty good. Nate and those guys are really good at taking feedback when it's given. So there were a lot of instances of the terrain kind of skewing to the advantage of certain factions, Drukhari being one of them. So I think they will fix that somewhat before the next event, all that good stuff. And Nate is going to be the head TO for the Lone Star Open, which is the Frontline Gaming event that's going to be in Dallas in July. So they'll be using Frontline terrain for that event. So we won't see a lot of the same things. Like one of the problems that some people were having was they had those really big sort of like Nova L style ruins that were like 11, 12 inches tall by like 10, 12 inches square. 2 of those kind of in the midboard of a table just blocks out a ton of like almost too much line of sight, where it was allowing a lot of the Drukhari people to like push their boats up and then have their boats be safe, and then have those like crazy long bomb advanced charges with the turbo characters and things like witches and stuff like that. So they did take that feedback. So I think they'll fix that next time. Pretty good there. I played on the stream table for round 5, which is a ton of fun. So I got to give a shout out to my buddy Robert, who was playing AdMech. He's a vet like me, former Marine, so Simplify, all that good shit. And that was a super fun time. I think I still made mistakes. We were both trying to be hyper aware of saying everything right and doing everything right. And, I felt like a crap stealer because I was like rolling my dice and I would be like, okay, can the camera see him? Everybody see it? Okay, cool. And then I'll do all my wounds. So we were trying our hardest to play a super tight game, very sportsmanlike. And I think we accomplished that. But I'll be the first to admit I probably still made some rules mistakes, but it was, definitely not malicious or anything. I think he made a couple of mistakes we had to walk back, but fun overall. And so, yeah, I went 4-4, which is, not what I wanted initially. I wanted to go win positive, but not going win negative at an event of more than 100 people is really hard to do for anybody who's not a avid tournament goer or doesn't play on the ITC circuit really heavily each year. When you go to a really, really big event, it's super difficult to break even or go win positive. So myself and the 5 other people that were sort of our little like group from Austin that went up there, we all went either win positive or even. So felt really good about that. And I'll be 100% real. There were 2 games that I just did not want to play because I was tired. Like 8 rounds over 3 days is a lot for anybody. And then for me personally, with my issues and stuff, it was a little extra hard. So there was a couple of games kind of near the end where I was just like, hey, I'll play as many turns as you want to play so you can have a good time, but I'm going to give you this game so I can go lay down.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I would have liked to have been in a mental place and maybe like a more rested, physical place with my back and stuff like that, where I could have played those games, because, for those 2, it wasn't a situation of like, oh, this is an auto lose or something like that. It was more like, I just didn't want to be at the table anymore, because I had been at the tables for like 8 hours already. So I was like, I'm just ready I want to get out of here. Like, I don't want to do this. So maybe next time I'll prepare a little bit better, and like get some better sleep or or what have you to do that. But yeah, had a good time. Drukhari, shifting into our Drukhari talk. Drukhari are a fucking problem. Like, they are a problem.
I've heard that.
I'm gonna stick to kind of some of the stuff I was saying last week, because on paper they don't like look OP, right? Like if you look at somebody like Drazer, where it's like, okay, he's like a toughness, I think he might be one more, he might be 4, but like most Dark Eldar are toughness 3, toughness 4. He's got a good armor save, he's got 3 armor saves, he's got a 4-up invul save, and he reduces damage by 1, right? But he only has like 4 or 5 wounds. Pretty easy to hit, pretty easy to wound. You get past his saves with most of the weapons that heroes have in this game. Like, he gets schwacked. Like, I played Drukhari twice over the event, and in one game I beat the pants off of him 95 to 35, and then in another game I got the pants beat off of me 95 to 55. So rather than saying like, wham wham, we need a nerf, cool, everybody knows they do. Like, Drukhari are a problem. They need some points adjustments to take away some of the like hyper efficiency of some of those units. Some of the wording of rules might need to be reworked slightly. But realistically, we're in a world where Drukhari may or may not get that adjustment for months, right? It could be next week, right? Maybe they were tracking this. It could be next week. Or it could be like 3 to 4 months from now. And we're just going to have to live in this world where Drukhari are just OP as fuck, right? So what do we do against Drukhari? Like, what's the basic tactic that one should have if you go into a Drukhari matchup, right? So first and foremost, you got to take care of the boats, right?
Yeah,
because they put all their stuff in boats. The boats are trash, right? They have a 4-up armor save and a 5-up invul save. Might be -1 to hit from something or another, but for the most part, it's like a T6 vehicle with 10 wounds. They're super easy to kill. Almost every faction in the game has efficient ways of just popping those boats, right? It's easier said than done. They might be able to hide them from obscuring terrain or something like that, but we're just talking tactics. So primary thing is figure out which boats their characters are in, like the Turbo Succubus, Drazer, maybe they're like extra cool Archon, somebody like that, right? Figure where those are, got to know where those are, and then try to pop those. A lot of these lists had like 3 to 4 Raiders and 3 Ravagers, and the Ravagers have Dark Lances. The Dark Lances on the Ravagers, that's like a red herring. Like, they kind of suck, right? It's still a Dark Lance, so it's high strength, D3 plus 3 damage, that kind of thing, right? But they're kind of a bait and switch in that if you let that Raider with that like Succubus and Witches and like Trueborn and an Archon or whatever just like roll up on the board where they can hide out and then get out and like charge into your business the next turn, like that's where they give you the like endless combo touch of death stuff that they're doing right now. You can't let that happen. So I think it's more viable to try to take those boats with the characters out and then just take a shooting phase from those Ravagers as best you can. And then on the next turn, like clean those up. That was kind of my initial thoughts when I played Drukhari round 4 was like, okay, like there's a good selection of terrain on these tables, like 9th edition should have. I'm going to try to hide what I can. I'm going to try to put stuff behind like dense cover as much as I can to make them -1 to hit, you know, and they'll have that thing where like you can reroll 1 hit and reroll 1 wound every time, but it's still just 3 shots, right?
Yeah.
And if they hit with all of them, they wound with all of them, you fail all your saves, like, yeah, it'll blow up a Rhino. It might blow up like a soft tank or some, so like your Dreadnought or whatever. But you have to take it because it's way worse to let those Raiders push up with the characters in them and then they get out and, you know, because they can advance out of the vehicle and then charge, they have a preposterous like threat range outside of that boat, you know? So the basic strategy is just take the Ravagers 1 turn, try to kill those other boats, you know, and if you have no targets, like by all means, kill the Ravagers, right? And then the other thing is like playing keep away with those characters as much as possible. because they're probably only going to have like 3 of them, with the way that a lot of people are running these like either triple patrols or like a real space raid or some such. So you have to play keep away as best you can, like try to screen those out with some units that you don't mind getting schwacked, space out your characters. And then from there, like bringing things to disrupt their abilities, because if it was just fight first, that's one thing, but it's the fact that they also have like fight first, and they can make you ineligible to fight until all their units have fought. That kind of throws certain abilities out of whack, right? Because there's abilities, it's like, oh, you don't count as having charged. I don't care, I fight first. Or I make you fight last. Well, I make you ineligible to fight until all their enemies have fought. And then because I'm the controlling player, my charger goes first. So they still go first, right? So you have to kind of learn those interactions so that you know what's going to happen when it happens. Because there was a lot of people at that event that like had never been in that situation before and constantly had to ask TOs like, how does this work? Because like I have the Armor of Russ and they have fight first, and then they put this ability on me where I'm not eligible to fight, but they're not eligible to fight. All that type of stuff. So like you need to like read into those rules and figure out those interactions. So things like if you play Death Guard, the Foul Blight Spawn with Revolting Stench Vats, like that puts a stop to the Turbo Succubus if she charges in, right? So that's a great unit to have. So look through your codex, see if you have those types of choices. If you don't, then your best bet is to make them fall out of their boat on the other side of the board and then play keep away with them as much as possible. Things like snipers might make a return, where you can just like target the succubus and that sort of thing. Targeted psychic powers are going to be really, really helpful, where you can just pick that character out and like hit them with some mortal wounds to get past their invul saves and things like that. But yeah, things that I think will work. Volume Fire did really well at that tournament against Dark Eldar. If we look at Mark Hertel, who was the Mechanicum player who went 7-1 and lost to John Lennon in the last round, he has a lot of bands of fire in that Mechanicum list, where he has a lot of volume to take care of their infantry, he has some high strength to take care of the boats. He's got some indirect, so they can't hide in buildings. So you might want to restructure what you're doing against them, where we've been in this like one kind of way of playing, and now we're in this like Drukhari world where it's like you have to be able to deal with Drukhari, right? So like indirect fire is great. Volume fire is going to be a really big deal because most of their stuff is T3, T4. So heck, like tons and tons of bolt shots from bolt guns or hurricane bolters or that type of stuff is great. It's great against Drukhari, because if you can do your strategy of like pop the boat and then hit him with volume fire, like that's what we want to do, right? So like last week we had my buddy Greg on, he played the Centurions. The Centurions did great the entire event. Like they did gangbusters, right? And so in the pre-show, I was talking to Mike, because he's an OG Grey Knight boy. And one of the things I'm looking at that seems real tantalizing is an Inquisitor. Like we saw a lot of high level players in the Imperium factions bringing an Inquisitor, and I hadn't looked at Inquisitors in years. And I was like, why are they doing this? Like, what are they doing? And then I figured out what they were doing, and it makes so much sense, especially moving forward now that we've kind of seen what Drukhari are going to be capable of when you put together these good lists. Is you want to take like an Ordo Xenos Inquisitor, right? And they have the Quarry ability, which is basically they don't like keyword Xenos or keyword Hereticus or keyword Demon or something like that, right? So they have a stratagem for 1 CP that lets all Imperium infantry and bikers next to them reroll hit rolls of 1 against their Quarry. So if you put an Inquisitor in your list and you play Dark Eldar, it's keyword Xenos, so you can put that next to units and give them rerolls of 1 against anything they shoot at. That's keyword Xenos, which is great, especially for a lot of people that are kind of in a weird world where they might have to have those Imperium units that aren't core anymore, like the Centurions. So if you've got some Centurions on the bench, because they couldn't have rerolls, well, put a 65-point Inquisitor in your list, and all of a sudden, all of those shots get rerolls against that Dark Eldar matchup, right? Which is great. And we were also talking about the named character, Inquisitor. What's her name? Like Draxus. Yeah. She's got her little dragon, right? She's super cool. She's 85 points, and she does not have to target the closest person with Smite. And she can take the psychic power Castigate, right? And so then all of a sudden you're like, ooh, that Turbo Succubus, she's coming at me. Well, I'm going to hit her with Smite, and I can target her because of her, special rule. And Castigate is a targeted ability. So you can like wipe out that Turbo Succubus with, 3, 4, 5, upwards of 6 to 7 mortal wounds in your psychic phase before she gets to do anything, right? And it stops the Lookout Sir stuff and all that business. There's some other little handy things that you can do. Like you can spend 1 CP to deep strike the Inquisitor. So if you have a deep striking unit that might not be core, or just a unit that you don't want to have babysat by like your main warlord or something like that, you can just deep strike her right next to him and then play that stratagem where you get CP rerolls. Like there was what are they called? The Mechanicum guys, the Corpus Cari priests that have just like a whole bunch of shots with their little gauntlets. And Lucius, they can deep strike. So all of a sudden it's like, okay, I'm going to deep strike these guys behind the lines, and she's going to be right next to him. And then for 1 CP, I reroll ones to hit, and then I spend a stratagem to make their little gauntlets -2. So then it's 30, strength 5, -2, 1 damage shots, hitting on 3s, rerolling 1s. And for every 5 or every 6 that you roll, it's 2 additional auto hits for like their electricity guns or whatever. So it's a ton of shots. You'll wipe out witches, you'll wipe out racks, you'll wipe out those like Cavalry Troopborn guys. You'll pick up 10 of them all day, every day, doing that sort of thing. So
you got to get them out first.
Inquisitors, real handy against the Dark Eldar. Now they're not gonna like roll up on that succubus and smack her down. They're just not that good. But it does give you options that you didn't have before, which is really neat. And then if you don't play against Dark Eldar, it's a single 28 mil base that you can just, have wherever. You can deep strike them into a corner way off across the board and do an action for a secondary, or, have them go into the middle and do psychic ritual for a secondary or something like that, right? All sorts of fun things you can do with this cheapo little character that gives you all these options that you didn't have before. But yeah, I think that's all I got.
I'm almost wondering if there was this out of sequence release of this book and something else was supposed to already come out to keep this in check. Because it seems like a lot of it's going to take a combined arms force. You gotta play like 4th, 5th edition where you gotta have this gun for this level of firepower for this level of firepower for this, and then still be good when they get to your line, or you get to them and counter charge. So it's kind of like the old style of playing, because you can't always play the objective games either. And I don't know, I guess we'll see when the next book, like maybe the AdMech comes out and keeps them in check, or maybe the Charadon 2 comes out.
I definitely think AdMech is going to be the next like big boy on the street, just from their basic previews and some of the stuff they're doing in the Book of Rust. Very, very cool things. Now, the one thing that I'm wondering is how much of Engine War is going to be rolled into this new book, because a lot of stuff that people are doing right now comes from Engine War. And what we have seen is that like some things come out of those books into the new dexes, like the Death Guard Codex, but not everything. So we'll have to see what kind of restructuring happens, what the points look like. I have an inkling that things like Cataphrons and Castellan robots are going to be more of a mainstay, just because they came out with the Belisarius Call Army of Renown. That's basically like you can't have any Skitarii in the list. So hopefully the points for those are good because those are one of our most solid units in the AdMech Codex. It's great. So yeah, we'll see. But AdMech right now is great. They kind of check a lot of the boxes for dealing with something like Drukhari as is. Like Mark Hurdle at Dallas played like 4 of the top 5 Drukhari lists. Well, no, not the top players, but he played Drukhari 4 times and beat them with his AdMech list, right? And he's playing with an old book. And AdMech, like on paper, they don't have a lot of tricks. Like they're very just like, I'm just gonna shoot and I'm gonna, move around and that's it. Like they don't have a whole lot of crazy shenanigans going on. It's just like you got to play them well, and they have a boatload of shots going down range every shooting phase. So hopefully that kind of balances out the Drukhari stuff, gives some type of status quo that we can live in. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think everything's going to get changed up, and definitely keep an eye on the list from Lone Star Open and definitely the Atlantic City Open, which I don't know if we mentioned it in the earlier part of the podcast, but the team tournament at Vegas that's in September, those tickets are going on sale from Frontline Gaming tomorrow at I think 10 a.m.
10
Pacific.
Yes.
So there may be a lot of interest. It may sell out quick if you're thinking about heading out to it. You might want to scoop those tickets up.
We're going.
Because, unless you don't like flying, then.
Yeah.
Then F you.
If only there was a way to travel that wasn't flying.
Oh, teleporters.
I feel like that would be way worse for you, given your phobia of flying.
Nah.
How are you okay with teleportation but not a commercial aircraft?
Oh, just breaking something down to molecular level and reassembling it, which I think might be theoretically impossible. Seems fine.
You're cool with that. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Just turn up the Heisenberg compensator and you're good to go.
Yeah.
It's not even going to talk about the whole thing where it's probably not even you. It's like a copy of you. So technically you die every time you teleport.
Yep.
I mean, life is pain.
But airplanes scary.
No, yeah, it's super scary, dude.
No metal bird in sky.
Okay. No. Nope. Not once. Do not want. Well, I think we did it, guys. I think we hit all the high points. I think Kenny was even listening there for a while, but he's on a plane headed back home tonight. So I'm sure he'll be with us next week, and I'm sure he'll be streaming tomorrow on Friday. I think. I hope.
Depends on how he feels, I guess. But yeah. He's supposed to come back. Mm-hmm.
But all right, Haspil, do that thing you do.
Lo there do I see my father. Lo there do I see my mother and sisters and my brothers. Lo there do I see the line of my people back to the beginning. Lo, they do call to me. They bid me take my place among them in the halls of Valhalla, where the brave may live forever.